Hey guys, this is Anthony Monday helping you ace your fitness, and today we're going to be talking about IIFYM, or the If It Fits Your Macros diet. This will be the first installment of a diet series where I break down the most popular diets going on right now, discuss their pros and cons, and also discuss who it would be ideal for. So what is IIFYM? If It Fits Your Macros is a diet that literally allows you to eat whatever food you want. When we eat, every single food has a certain number of calories. Those calories can be further broken down into macronutrients, or macros, otherwise known as your proteins, carbs, and fats. The theory behind this diet is as long as your carbs, proteins, and fats are accounted for, your food source, or what you eat, actually doesn't matter. So with this diet, you don't label foods as good or bad, or healthy or unhealthy, or clean or dirty. You look at food as a whole as just an energy source. So some foods will have more protein than others, some more fat, and some more carbs. And the higher carb and the higher fat foods are considered not macro friendly, meaning it's hard to fit in your macros. The way this diet works is you're given a certain number of macros to hit each day. Now with these macros, you basically have free reign on what food you choose to eat, as long as at the end of the day, they all fit into your proteins, carbs, and fats. So now I want to discuss some pros and cons to this diet. And first we'll start off with 5 pros. So the first pro, and what excites most people about the IIFYM diet, is you can literally eat whatever food you want as long as you fit it into your macros. So whether this is pizza, donuts, ice cream, if you can allot it into your daily macros, you're more than welcome to have it, and it won't affect your body composition. So yeah, certain things are better for your health, but if you wanted to fit in some junk food here and there with this diet, you're totally able to, since we're not looking at food as black and white, but rather just an energy source. The second pro to counting macros is you'll start to learn how weight loss actually works. So you'll start to understand portion sizes and high calorie foods versus low calorie foods. And you'll be able to eyeball foods for the rest of your life to determine what type of calories and macros are in that certain food. This will help you stay on track no matter what your goals are. So the third pro to this diet is it won't affect your social life. Because there's no food restrictions or no rigid meal plan and you're able to eat whatever you want, you can go out to eat with friends and family and still stay on track as long as you fit the meal into your macros. See, this is huge for most people because most people would be too scared to go out to eat because they're on a diet, or they can't have this food, or they can't have that food. Well, with this diet, you're able to fit that food into your macros, you can still stay on track. So number 4 is it'll always allow you to stay on point with your body composition goals. So whether you're trying to lose weight or gain weight or even maintain your weight, you'll be able to adjust those macros and see exactly what you're putting in your body and how it's affecting how you look. Number 5 is, since you don't label foods as good or bad, there's no need to feel guilty or shame yourself if you eat your favorite food. See, there's no magical foods that burn fat or lose weight or make you gain weight. It all comes down to the energy balance at the end of the day. So you're able to fit in your favorite foods and you don't have to feel guilty about it. So I know that all sounds great, but there are a couple disadvantages to consider before starting the If It Fits Your Macros diet. Number 1 is when you're able to eat whatever you want and counting macros and looking at proteins, carbs, and fats for every meal and every snack, you might be neglecting your micronutrients, which are your vitamins and minerals, which are very important for overall performance and health. So to combat this, I like to use the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your diet should be your traditional clean foods, and then the extra 20 should be whatever foods you enjoy that you're able to fit into your macros. So number 2 is trigger foods. A trigger food is a food that someone eats that causes them to go on a binge. So let's say, for example, your trigger food is pizza. So if you have 1 piece of pizza, you're not going to stop there, you're going to have 6 pieces of pizza. And maybe after you're done, you're going to tap into that all or nothing mindset of, well, I already had 6 pieces of pizza, so I might as well have 3 donuts and, cookies, stuff like that. So if you're someone who has an emotional connection with food, it's so important to understand that you need to be aware of the trigger foods. So if you're doing the If It Fits Your Macros diet, while you're able to eat whatever food you want, you make sure that you don't eat that food because you have an emotional connection with that, and that's going to cause you to tap into that all or nothing mindset like I mentioned, where you're going to say, screw it, I already messed up, so I might as well eat as much as I can. So you want to try to avoid these foods. Number 3 is you might find yourself becoming fixated on hitting these exact numbers every single day. While that's the goal, you're going to be off some days, and you might have some days where you have other things going on where you're not able to hit your macros completely, or you spill over a little bit. It's really not the end of the world, unless you're of course competing for some type of show, or if you have a photo shoot coming up. But it's important to not stress over the exact number, but try to be in ballpark, especially if you're first starting out. Number 4 is you may eat even when you're not hungry because you have macros left for the day. While this is alright and it won't affect your body composition, it's better to listen to internal cues for hunger over the long run, so you're able to have a good emotional connection with food. So you're not just eating just because you're able to, or you have macros left, but because you're actually hungry. So if this is you, you may want to consider being more mindful of your eating. Number 5 is counting macros does take a little extra time out of your day. Because you don't have a set meal plan or any restrictions to your food, you're constantly trying to find foods that will fit into your macros so that at the end of the day you'll have your certain amount of proteins, carbs, and fats. Now this can be a great tool, but like I said, it does take a little extra time because you have to be mindful of what you're eating throughout the whole day. So if you have a large breakfast, you're going to know that you're going to have smaller meals for the rest of the day, as opposed to if you're on a meal plan, there's really no thought about it. You just go about eating as what you're told to eat. You have to weigh the food, but you don't have to put it into MyFitnessPal or anything. When you're counting macros, you have to weigh the food, count the food, put it in MyFitnessPal, and then figure out, at the end of the day, if you're still hungry, you have to figure out how many proteins, carbs, and fats you have left. And then sometimes you're going to have to make a meal out of that, which can be difficult in itself. So it takes a little extra time. So we talked about if it fits your macros, we talked about some pros to the diet, and we talked about some cons to the diet as well. So the question really is this diet for you? I would say it just really depends. I definitely recommend trying it though, because like I mentioned earlier, once you do it for a while, you kind of get a better understanding of food in general, low calorie foods versus high calorie foods, and what foods kind of put you over the top as far as make you gain weight. There's no food that really makes you gain weight, but there's foods that make it harder for you to lose weight. And if you count macros, you'll kind of start to understand that. So I definitely recommend it. If you're busy all the time and you don't have the time to track meals and put in MyFitnessPal and weigh your foods, then it might not be the best diet for you. But if you're someone who enjoys fitting your favorite foods into your diet, a little junk food here and there, all while maintaining your shape, I think it's definitely for you. So I definitely recommend giving it a shot. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like me to make a video on how to count your macros or how to find out your specific macros based on your goals, please comment down below. I'd be happy to do so, as well as any other topic you'd like me to cover. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.